It is here. And it is there. It is everywhere. They say it will be the biggest epidemic in human history. Its prevalence is rising all over the world, but somehow more rapidly in Oman. Diabetes. It is causing blindness, kidney failure, heart attack, stroke, and lower limb amputation. It is deadly. Today, it is affecting over 400 million people worldwide, and the number is rising every day. In Oman, the prevalence of diabetes is exceeding the global average. How did that happen? In Western Asia, on the southeastern coast of the Arabian Peninsula, resides the Sultanate of Oman, an Arab Gulf country rich in history, culture, and nature.
ولحن جبالك انبضي أنت السلام وفي شعبك نقي قلبك.
Its economy relies on agriculture and fishing, but mostly on oil. For the last 5 decades, petroleum has been fueling the economy of Oman. The revenues from petroleum products and the progressive rule of Sultan Qaboos bin Said have enabled Oman's dramatic development. During the past 48 years, Oman has undergone a rapid socio-economic and epidemiological transition, leading to a steep reduction in child and adult mortality and morbidity, due to the decline of various communicable diseases, including vaccine-preventable diseases. However, with increasing prosperity, lifestyle-related non-communicable diseases have emerged. Today, the Sultanate is threatened by diabetes,
a disease that deserves more attention for many reasons. The prevalence of diabetes are alarming and rapidly getting worse. This is a worrying worldwide trend. WHO estimates that diabetes prevalence has doubled since 1980. The impact of this chronic metabolic disease on individuals, families, communities, health systems, and health budgets is staggering. Diabetes debilitates. The disease is an important cause of blindness, kidney failure, lower limb amputation, and other long-term consequences that greatly diminish the quality of life for millions. WHO estimates that 422 million adults had diabetes in 2014. Of these, around 1.5 million die each year.
Diabetes in Oman is common, and now all developed countries they have high incidence of diabetic and hypertension, and currently they call it metabolic syndrome. So here in Oman, our statistics here is one of out of 10 person they have diabetes in Oman, and this trend is increasing every year.
The number of patients with diabetes in Oman has been growing sharply the last decades, according to the International Diabetes Federation. Today, 10.7% of adults in Oman are affected by diabetes. Oman has a total adult population of 3.5 million, so more than 300,000 adults have diabetes. Diabetes is affecting the whole society.
How do you think this high prevalence affects the whole country, the whole population?
So that affects because the complication of diabetes mellitus and the cost of the treatment. So this is cost a lot of especially here in Oman, we have free treatment for all populations. So the government paid for every treatment, for hospital costs, for medication and everything. And other side also we don't have taxes, so we don't give anything from government. So everything is from resources of oil and everything. So that is very costly for the country. So because these diabetic mellitus patients, they don't have only blood sugar, but you see the complication. So they have ulcers, they have retinopathy, they have nephropathies, so they have cardiovascular disease. So there is a direct cost, which is because the diabetes for medication and follow-ups and everything, but there is indirect cost which goes with the complication, like there is diabetic foot, so you need to be seen by a surgeon, you need surgery. The risk of nephropathy, so some of the patients they have dialysis, so you think about dialysis and the cost of dialysis. Also the eye, retinopathy, so you need also management of thermal. So there is a direct cost and there is indirect, and both of them are very costly. So it costs the country a lot of money to treat the diabetes.
A recent study done by the Sultan Qaboos University shows that the absolute number of people living with type 2 diabetes in Oman is expected to increase by 174% by the year of 2050.
In the past decade, growth in the prevalence of diabetes has been fastest in low and middle income countries, where the cost of care can easily drive families below the poverty line.
Oman has also witnessed a fast growth in the prevalence of diabetes the past decades. But Oman is not a low or middle income country. It is classified as a high income country. Omanis have enough money to buy healthy food. Moreover, they have access to free healthcare and free education. They have enough time and space to sport. They are producing a lot of babies, so they have a high fertility rate and a lot of young people in the population. Still, the prevalence of diabetes in Oman is exceeding global rates. How can we explain that?
Because the change in lifestyle, the change in sedentary lifestyle. So also there is not a lot of people, the type of the food they take is more of junk food now, and so more is fat and unhealthy diet. What's happening now, the diet, obesity, still we have few obesity is increasing. So obesity is part of diabetes mellitus, sedentary lifestyle, poor dietitian or unhealthy diets, these are the most contributor. Plus, there is few entity which is familial. So here in Oman we have few cases we found that the families, the diabetes mellitus, this type 2 is running in the families. Especially if combined with other risk factor, which is sedentary lifestyle, poor unhealthy diet and obesity. We didn't find something like genetic mutation causing diabetes, but you see it's running in the families. So if you say the father has or the mother have diabetes mellitus, the children, some of them they will develop diabetes mellitus. But if there is early intervention for that patient, or for the children, there is early intervention, like they doing good diet, they have a healthy lifestyle, they do exercise and everything, the risk of diabetes is less comparing if there is other risk factor like obesity, sedentary lifestyle, and others. With our weather, which is very hot, so the using the exercises is not that common among our populations. Still, we have a lot of people who are doing exercises, but also the outdoors activity is less because of the weather. So we have high temperature during summer, and we just reach up to 40 or 50 degrees Celsius.
On daytime, almost all streets of Oman are empty. Most streets do not have pavements. It is hard to find somebody walking, and it is even harder to walk more than a few minutes under the scorching sun of Oman. Cars, on the other hand, are everywhere. It is not only the hot weather and the availability of cars and the very cheap gas prices that are driving the diabetes epidemic. Economic development, globalization, increased urbanization and population aging that have taken place in a very short period of time in Oman are also linked to the rise in diabetes prevalence. During the last century, Oman was an underdeveloped, relatively small nation, isolated from the rest of the world until the summer of 1970. Sultan Qaboos bin Said assumed power and used the revenues of the oil production to set the country on the path of modernization. Oman developed from an isolated medieval community into a modern state with running water, electricity, telephones, shopping malls, schools, universities, hospitals, technology, internet, and airports in only 40 years. People started to leave the rural areas and settle in the big cities. It was now possible to travel in and out of the country and to exchange information and goods with other countries. Oil was leaving the country. A lot of goods, amongst them cars, multinational fast food companies, alcohol, tobacco, mechanic appliances, televisions, computers, and computer games were brought in. Also, millions of cheap immigrant workers came to Oman, relieving Omani people from heavy labor and domestic tasks. The population of Oman has grown immensely. In 1975, there were less than 900,000 people living in Oman. Today, there are almost 5 million people. The remarkable demographic, socio-economic and epidemiological transition has also been reflected in the health of the Omani people. The life expectancy increased. However, with increasing prosperity, lifestyle-related, non-communicable diseases have emerged, leaving the Sultanate with a new health challenge.
Here in Oman, we develop a program among Ministry of Health, which is 40 years old checkup. So during this 50 years old, or any patient who are more than 40 years old, go to local health center. He have a blood test to check his renal function, blood sugar, and also to check his hypertension. So it is part of the screen for metabolic syndrome. So it is applied now in all local health centers in Oman, and I don't know what is the outcome of that screening, but most of health centers providing that screening.
According to the most recent diabetes profile of the WHO, Oman does have medicines, basic technologies and procedures to provide effective diabetes care. But Oman does not have an operational strategy plan for diabetes. There is also no operational strategy plan to reduce overweight, obesity, and physical inactivity.
What do you believe is the best strategy?
So I think the strategy is prevention. So if you prevent, you have less complication, less disease incident. So if we now starting with the education and screening program. So early detection, early knowledge about the disease, that and the education of the population about doing good the exercises, they have healthy diet, that will improve the outcome. That also will reduce the incidence of the disease.
أنت السلام.
Oman might be considered a high-income country, but it is still a developing country. Oman has undergone a socio-economic, demographic, epidemiologic and nutrition transition in a very short period of time. Moreover, there are some unique factors that are present in Oman and other Gulf countries that may also play a crucial role in this uncontrolled race in the prevalence of diabetes. Some of them are genetic predisposition, high frequency of consanguineous marriages, hot weather, the oil wealth, immigrant workers, the unavailability of pedestrian infrastructure, and the unavailability of an effective program to defeat diabetes. Today, the epidemic is still growing, but there is hope. A lot of risk factors that are associated with diabetes in Oman are modifiable, and a lot of diabetes cases can be prevented. With a good strategy plan, the Omanis can defeat diabetes and live a long and healthy life.
اشرقي رتلي حب السلام. أنت في أعماقنا، أنت عشق يا عمان.